Okay, this is one of my favorite topics actually. It's about influencers and they come sometimes in a second, sometimes they come in a lifetime. I always share when I speak story of my grandfather, as you, my grandparents came from Kyiv, my mom and my aunt came from Kyiv, my father's side from Poland, so immigrants always, right? And around 5 years old in Montreal, I remember taking me for walks in the park. And one day I asked him, I called him Zeta, I said, how do you know all these people that you talk to? Which is probably where I get it from. But and he said, well, one day I smiled at that guy over there, and he then started coming over to me, and he smiled at me, and then someone else saw us smiling and talking, and they came over, and I'm thinking, shortening the story here, I'm thinking, well, it's pretty easy, just smile at people. And I wasn't thinking influence, but you just smile at people, and then I
Mm.
started realizing more and more it was a physiological, it was a psychological, it was a welcoming in, it was everything about influencing just by the smile. And then we all have more. But with respect to that, can you share with us two or three people that have been influential in your life?
Yeah, Mark, I'd say I would be remiss in not saying that working with Olympian York and Paul Reichmann specifically was not incredibly influential in my life. In fact, I was just talking about that today in a board meeting about a very specific example of an interaction with Paul that I still carry to this day, and it's, a couple decades later. Um,
Nice.
I was incredibly influenced by Peter Munk, and especially by particularly his ability to have this grand vision and be so charismatic and so inspirational in galvanizing and coalescing people along that vision, and his remarkable ability to remember people's names and places to make them feel so special, as if you were the only person in the room, even though you might have been many, many levels below him, and he might have only met you once or twice. And
Yeah.
I still remember incidents of where that happened. And then I would say maybe less directly. I'm influenced by I'm a student of leadership, of business leadership, and so I'm always influenced by really creative, innovative thinkers. And I'm gonna refer to Seth Godin for an example as someone who's been highly influential. Um, yeah, and then lastly, only because I just finished this incredible leadership development program run by Wolf Willow in Canada, and the facilitation of that by people like Julian Norris and Vanessa Reed and Laura Blakeman and others has been incredibly influential in terms of bringing different ways of knowing, sensing, indigenous somatic, looking at nature as being incredibly influential as to how do I think about that from a systems change standpoint and an application to the business world. So those are some of the people more recent and some from the past that have really been quite influential in my own life.
Not to mention your wife and your mom and dad.
Yes, for sure. That goes without saying.
Thank you for sharing that. Really important.